You, get off my lawn. I play D&D much better than I used to. Like a big old badass. Get up, get. Go on, I'll shoot you. I'll shoot you. Man, what's with the hillbilly intros? I'll shoot you. Welcome back to Drunkards and Dragons. We're gonna play D&D like big old badasses. Check it out. On a boat down the Danube, putting tinfoil on a dwarven battle cube. Greetings, programs. Welcome back to Drunkards and Dragons. We play D&D like big old badasses, and we're gonna do a little bit more of it right now. We had what did happen? Oh yeah, I'm gonna just cut right to it. A great viewer question about the Dwarven Battle Cube. So if you saw room design from way back in the day, like I'm talking like 5 months ago, one of the first room design videos was about the guard room just outside the rat room, and in there we have these Dwarven Battle Cubes. So this is a Dwarven Battle Cube. So if you want to make one of these, it's just a wooden block wrapped in wacky tinfoil and then painted silver and black and gold and stuff, so it looks like some kind of weird Skyrim kind of alloy freak show. Anyways, they're really cool looking. They have a real presence on your board and they're cool. But what the hell's a Dwarven Battle Cube, you ask? Well, it all began in my book. Dwarves had this technology where they could roll this battle dice, and how it turned up would determine what it would do. Yeah, so if you can see that, the upper picture there, right by my pinky, that was gonna be the Dwarven Battle Cube. And then, you know, like they come up against a dwarf and he's like, you know, attack, and he rolls this kind of special dice, and maybe we would use a d6 like this, and you know, the cube would go and activate to that. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Maybe it's some kind of mini game. Anyways, when the time came, something far cooler came together by the time the game was going. I needed a room where the players could not easily escape their imprisonment. But I didn't want to just have more guards that they kill, so I was trying to figure some kind of a fun obstacle out. Usually you have them like try to lift a portcullis or pick a lock or you know, find a key, whatever. I don't know. I wanted something different, so I came up with the Dwarven Battle Cube. So I've got this teeny little scenario set up right here. So I think it was Christian Dharma was the viewer that was hitting me up on Facebook about the Dwarven Battle Cube. So I just wanted to break down more of the exact mechanics that we use to make the Dwarven Battle Cube work. Just kind of dormant, right? Here comes Boot Myron, or Hankerin Fernell, however you like it. And we'll say that Stills right now is working for the enemy, and he's right up here. So you can probably see it, but there's like a lever in a stone right here. Some kind of arcane controls. And that is where Stills is going. So Boot walks in, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing up there, you stinking goblin?" And he's like, "Get out of here or I'll activate the Dwarven Battle Cube, you stinker. I want to have all the treasure to myself." Boot's like, "No way, I want some treasure." And so Stills reaches over to the lever and pushes it downward. And right when he does so, this giant alloy cube hovers a few inches above the floor. It makes like these weird magnetic noises. And if you don't go when you're playing with the players and you're the DM, that it's not badass. You need to make the sound. So and if you can have your phone ready and make like those transformer noises that are so cool, that'd be not that one. The newer transformer noises. They're like weird sub-bass noises. I digress. It's the thing with the control. It floats up and we'll say, for the sake of argument, proceeds right over to Boot. It just goes and slides over to him, and blades spring out of the thing and it starts making conventional melee attacks. So Boot puts up with this for a while and he's like, "Holy crap, this thing is crazy." And then Stills is like, "Have you had enough yet?" He pulls it back. He's pulling on the lever up here as the thing moves. So Boot already knows, like, ooh, that's where the controls are. Interesting. So he pulls it back and then he shifts it into a different groove. He goes from first gear to third. The Dwarven Battle Cube spins into a different orientation, Hellraiser style. Settles back down, vibrates, and then boom, shoots out a pulse. Boot has to make a save, you know, something like a fort save against this. In this case, he makes it, so he only takes half of the 2d10 damage wave that goes in all directions right off the floor. Now, as that happens, Boot notices, whoa, there's like a wave of energy that was right along the floor. That's key for your players to understand that. It is jumpable. Also, anything elevated will be safe from the Omni beam. So Boot's like, well, I know two of the powers that this thing has. So Stills gets mad, he grabs the controls again, goes from 3rd gear up to 2nd gear, and this goes, floats over next to him, and a little dwarven shield pops out the top, right in front of Stills, just as Boot decides to take a shot with his crossbow. Ka-chunk, plink. So that is its 3rd power, the defensive power. So what are the powers? First of all, make it basically like a CR1 knight. So if you look in your monster manual, knight is in the back under miscellaneous enemies. And for the sake of making it kind of cool, give it 2 attacks. They're 1d6 plus 2 attacks, something like that. You know, common longsword, or like ragged sword. I guess long D sword, or long sword would be one. Long D sword. That's what you need to roll. Is like, yeah, the damage is long D sword. So 1d8 would be a little high, but at 2 1d6 attacks, it's making normal attacks. That's first mode. Just be a conventional, boring attacker. By the way, this thing is completely invincible and immovable, except by using the controls. Ability number 2. The damage wave. So it rises, spins, and drops a very high damage. You know, if you really want to go with it, it's like 66. Make the save, take half the damage, just like a breath weapon. And anywhere you can get off the floor safely, or even attempt to jump it if you have a held action, take half the damage. Or avoid it altogether if you're nowhere near the floor. Also, we were doing line of sight. So you see this little spire of stone right here? If you were to get right here, when the damage wave shot out, you would have a safety zone. So classic, like World of Warcraft type mechanic, you know, find a line of sight safety zone for the everybody dies power. And then the 3rd power is as a defender. So it moves towards the controller or the target of the controller's choice, has mechanical shields that can extend in different cool ways, and basically casts mage armor on adjacent allies, which is a +4 armor class. So really easy stuff. That running the Dwarven Battle Cube is so easy, especially because it's invulnerable to damage and can't be moved or pushed or fucked with in any way except by using controls. Now here's where it gets cool too. When the players figure out that all you need to do is get your hands on this lever up here to control the thing, that's going to be job 1. So with Boot, he fights his way up the ladder. He is now safe from the cube. He Spartan kicks Stills right off the little platform here, reaches over, makes his int check to see if he can figure out how to work this thing, which is basically push the stick toward the icon. There's like a shield icon, a sword icon, and a skull. So naturally he pushes it toward the skull because he's a badass, and this guy shoots out the damage wave. Stills fails his save, takes the 10d10 or the 66, whatever, and is fried without Boot having to do the hard work himself. Now you can see the more nuanced mechanics that are at play here that could get very interesting. So give your players a place to get off the ground surface right away. If they're familiar with the Dwarven Battle Cube, right away they're going to be trying to get elevated to where the Omni Beam is not a threat. Another great way that you can create interest here is destroy your world. Actually set yourself up a smaller platform that can't be bypassed. So let's say for the sake of argument that the table here is where the players are. So you can see, there's my guys right there. There's Stills and Boot. They have to go over this. The cube is sitting right fricking there. So since they've encountered one of these before, right away they need to figure out what they're gonna do because there's just nowhere to hide here. So we did this before in one of the rooms, and the players actually wound up doing all these climb checks and skirting around the sides and doing all these shenanigans just to avoid coming in contact with this thing. Now, once they started running out of time and the encounter was escalating, one of them just went for, like, it's like streaking the Super Bowl. He just went, just ran right past the thing. And, you know, it activated and everything, and just couldn't quite run him down quick enough because he had that crazy long stride buff combined with the uncanny dodge. What is it called? Cunning action. Cunning action combined with the long strider buff is like an amazing combo. So if your druid and your rogue are getting that on, man, that's some good stuff. So he dash past. But the great thing about this is that you can totally steer character behavior just by placing a freaking cube on the board. Another great way to do it is place the cube on the board, tiny elevated space, lever. That's it. Don't even spawn your enemies yet. So these guys walk in, they're kind of like, oh, what's going on? This thing's sitting here dormant. And then you roll your suspense dice. You guys know about this. It's one of the coolest dice in the game. I get a 3. So the players get 3 rounds to muck about before whatever's gonna happen happens. So they move around. Ooh, hey, there's one of those levers like we saw before. Oh, you're stupid, dude. Screw that lever, I don't care. And then the dice counts down and, oh look, actually I was just waiting to spawn an Umber Hulk. Here it comes. Hey guys, I'm the local Umber Hulk. So this guy who's up here at the lever is now poised to fight the Umber Hulk with the cube while Stills runs for his life. So you can use the lever as a piece of cheese, which is, to draw the characters, or you can use the cube as a great way to build suspense and to push the characters away. You can also use the cube as a great means to fight enemies that would normally be out of the player's class, their environment. I hope you can get all the goodness that's packed in here. So let's say you have this set up. So can you see that there? Okay, so here we have a wall mid-room with a gap in it, right? And behind the gap you have the control lever. So the party comes fleeing this Umber Hulk. Ah, oh my god, what is this weird room with this? Well, okay, screw it, don't worry about it, come on, run. Here comes the Umber Hulk. There's no way they're gonna beat him because after all this is like a level 2 dwarf and a level 1 rogue. So they run through the gap and they're staring down this Umber Hulk, making the save on Confusing Gaze, of course. And they're like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? Boot remembers the lever, just moves the cube right there. Remember, without the controller, the magnetic properties of this cube make it immovable and indestructible. It's the ultimate door. So they have the Umber Hulk stumped. And they did it in a really cool way. Now let's say that they don't think that sharp on their feet. The Umber Hulk comes in, starts battling them, they move this in behind him to fight, but honestly these two guys have no chance against an Umber Hulk. So not the best move in the world. This, however, is a really cool move. So no matter how much the Umber Hulk goes crazy and scrapes at it, you can't get through. So there it is, Christian Dharma. I hope that was a good answer to some more of the details about how to run, create, and use a Dwarven Battle Cube in your encounters. Strength, honor, Dwarven Battle Cubes. Summering. That's it for this episode of, I don't even know where this episode goes. This is just Dwarven Battle Cube. So this episode's called Dwarven Battle Cube. So make yourself a Dwarven Battle Cube. Hell, make 50 of them and form a Dwarven Battle Wall or Dwarven Battle Igloo. That would be cool. I mean, I guess it's relative what you would consider cool. Igloos are cool because they're made out of ice. Dear Lord, that is terrible.